Well, good evening, everybody. I spoke with Pete Dassey yesterday about the same time we scheduled for this evening, and can't seem to get hold of him. Maybe he's having trouble getting online. We'll keep a track of what's going on, and hopefully we can we can get hold of him and get him on. But I've been trying to contact him. I came backstage about 5-10 minutes before we were due to start. As I say, we organised for a 2 o'clock Wisconsin time. That's 8 o'clock my time. So I'm not too sure how things are going with Pete. Still waiting on a reply, but hopefully he'll soon be with us. Let me just try this once more. In the meantime, always ready for this kind of eventuality when things don't always go according to plan. We'll give Pete a chance to hopefully hook up with us. But what I really wanted to share with you was, and this was created by Tracy Keogh, but it is, I'm sure you will all agree, pretty appalling. The defence of the state of Wisconsin by Luke Berg. Now, can we blame Luke Berg? I know some people would like to, because of the fact that he's trying to what he's trying to do with Brendan. I suppose in a way he's doing his job. And the thing about lawyers, they will always come up with an excuse for anything. But the excuses that Luke Berg comes up with, and one can only assume that, the state have. We know that Sweaty wanted to be involved with preparing for this, because he sent an email to Tom Fallon. To help them, as he called it, to help them with the blind spots. So whether or not some of this is Ken Kratz behind the scene, backstreet driver, I don't know, but it's pretty ridiculous. So let's have a read through what happened in front of the en banc hearing. So, Judge Wood, we are now ready to hear our case for this morning, Brendan Dassey against Michael Dittman. Michael Dittman apparently is the prison warden, and we will begin with Luke Berg. And I have to tell you that unfortunately the General Services Administration turned the power off in this building over the weekend, and they couldn't get the podium lights to work this morning, so we will have cards. I think the old-fashioned way. I'll be glad to remind you when you get to your rebuttal time, if you would like me to do that. I would appreciate that, certainly, so you may proceed. Luke Berg carries on. Good morning, and may I please the court? Yes, you could please the court by clearing off, but unfortunately you didn't. Brendan Dassey confessed because his guilt became unbearable. What he and Avery did to Teresa was horrific. Judge Woods immediately pipes up. What happened to Teresa was certainly horrific. We don't know what happened to Teresa. Judge Woods doesn't know what happened to Teresa. But of course, Judge Woods can only go on the fact that if Stephen Avery is presumed guilty, then everything that happened to her was that the state said was the truth because he was found guilty. But I do find this hard to accept that, okay, Judge Woods is maybe saying that, the fact that Teresa seems to have lost her life is horrific. I would accept that. But isn't the issue before us? There are two issues, I take it. One is rather the confession that you have put together from the numerous things that Brendan said was, from a constitutional point of view, voluntary, or to put it more accurately, whether the state court determination that it was voluntary was a reasonable assessment, and secondly, the effectiveness of counsel that he received from Len Kaczynski, who was representing the victim's family, it seems. So no one questions the terrible nature of this murder. Well, I'm sorry, Judge Woods, I don't know the nature of the murder. Nobody knows the nature of the murder. We don't know, but murder itself is terrible. Yes, I grant you that. How could you? But whether Mr. Dassey was responsible for it or whether he just went after the fire was lit is a serious problem. But as I say, the serious problem is the fact that nothing happened other than some rubbish got burned after the fire was lit. But anyway, I understand that Judge Woods is presenting it from the point of view that the situation at the moment is legally Steve is guilty until we get our evidentiary hearing, or until the state realise that they're just going to get such a kick in, they're going to have to back down. Okay. Absolutely, Luke Berg, absolutely. The investigators just nudged the confession out of Dassey. I didn't see any nudging. Did you see any nudging? I've just had a message. So let's just hold it there a moment. Let's see if we can go back and see if... oh, no, he sent me a message. Just bear with me. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Hey, I don't know if you've seen my text. I'm so sorry. I forgot that we just got back from shopping and my phone was dead, so I had it on the charger. It says, Paul is trying to get a hold of you, Paul. And I'm going, oh, yeah, that's right, 2 o'clock. I was thinking, I don't know. Sorry about that. I really apologize.
Hey, listen. 3 miles outside of Galashiels, not even 3 miles, is a place called Clovenfords. And people in Galashiels are absolutely sure that people in Clovenfords have their own time zone, because it's like, just look, these things happen. Don't worry about it at all. I'm just glad that you're here. Okay. Oh, yeah. I was actually just in case, these sort of things happen, and this we're going out live, so things happen. I was starting to read the first little bit of Luke Berg talking about Brendan's confession, but seeing as I've got you here in person, I would like you to just talk a little bit, if you would please, about sort of going back quite a long time. Obviously, at one time you had, was it 4 or 5 boys running around the house, and then that family sort of left, and you ended up with this other family. What's it been like being Pete Dassey, having in effect 2 separate families?
Oh yeah, after I got my divorce, I you run into that, and then we agreed on each weekend I took the kids, and the house was full of boys running around there. I had them Friday night, Saturday night, and then I brought them back Sunday.
Yeah. And boys far better behaved than girls, obviously. Well,
we had our times. But I did hear that though. Boys are a lot better than girls. I don't know. I didn't have any, so I don't know.
But then when obviously you and Laurie got together, there or were sort of Steve's kid and were the two girls were they already sort of up and grown up?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I remember the first time when we first got together. I don't know if you ever saw that show, The Brady Bunch.
You
Um,
were telling me about it last night.
yeah, yeah. Matter of fact, we got a couple movie theaters in Manitowoc, and at the time it was the Strand.
Right.
And right now the Strand is a venture thing. You can go take your kids there and play games like shooting games. It changed a little bit. So, but back then when it was the movie thing, um, they had like 6 or 8 chairs on the side, and then they had so many going down the center. Well, we filled
Right.
that whole center. I think it was like, I don't know if it was 20 chairs down the center, and we filled one whole row up, and then we had to sit. Laurie and I had to sit off to the side because we had a whole thing filled.
Well, I bet you're probably glad of that, and just let the kids sort it out.
Yeah, it was the time where I don't know if you saw the movie The Lion King.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that was the big one at the time. We all
Yeah.
saw it live on a big screen. I think it was like 85 feet. I don't know.
Wow.
You know how, I don't know if you ever been to a movie theater.
Do you know what? I can still remember the very first time I went to the cinema, and it was to watch the Jungle Book, and it was when it was first released, and I'm thinking that's going to be about 1969. The Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely loved it. It was absolutely brilliant. You know, at the old Odeon Cinema in Cheltenham, which
Yeah.
I
Some sound effects there, they really get you when you're right there.
Yeah. I remember seeing the Jungle Book and thought it was absolutely, and I just love all the songs from Jungle Book. I think everybody does, don't they? You know.
Yeah, yeah.
And you remember who was it that Blue the Bear was the voice of Phil Harris? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant singer. He was also, was he not also the Thomas O'Malley, the alley cat in the Aristocats?
Yeah.
Yeah. I once saw him and Dean Martin doing a sketch together
Oh, okay. I
where
remember.
they're drinking and singing.
I remember Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good duo.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to sort of cut to the chase because we talked a little bit about it yesterday. I really want to get your opinion on this interview of Brendan on the 1st of March. Well, first of all, when did you sort of first realise what had happened then? How did you receive the news? You know,
When they were showing the whole thing and he was in trouble, I was totally blown away because Brendan in trouble for that, and I just totally got blown away. I didn't even know what to think.
When did you first hear that you know that Brendan had been arrested and charged with all this
Probably a
weird
couple
stuff?
days. Probably a couple days. Well, they had it. They actually had it on TV.
Yeah. Well, of course, the following day, Ken Kratz came.
Yeah. Yeah, a few days after Ken Kratz opened up his big mouth and he was on the show, on the TV.
Yeah. And you know, listen, we don't normally want to curse and swear, but I mean, if you want to tell us what you really think about Wiegert and Fastbender, by all means, please do.
Oh, I'm not even going to say anything. I'm not
Oh,
going to
okay.
say good about those guys, but I mean, I'm not going to swear. But one time they got me, they met me in Manitowoc and they were trying to convince me to tell Brendan take the plea deal because he did it. And I said, no, I'm not telling him anything because he didn't do nothing. Yeah, they kept after me, and I says, no, why should I say that? He's completely innocent, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. we know that at like, okay, let's start from here. Dean and Jerry have received one or two bits of criticism because for their $240,000 that they were paid to defend Steve, for their lack of experts that they hired. But the one expert that they did hire was, of course, Professor Larry White, who is an expert in false confessions. And yet at Brendan's trial, despite the fact that Dean and Jerry said to Brendan's lawyers, what was it, Edelstein and Fremgen, Fremgen and Edelstein, they didn't even choose to use Larry White to help defend them, which just seems very odd. What was the sort of mood like in Manitowoc towards Brendan leading up to trial?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, were you getting lots of people, sort of, oh no, that's the father of Brendan who did all that horrible crime, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I got the mean looks at everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of bothered me. Then it went away because why should it really bother me? Because I know he was innocent in the first place. So
Mm-hmm.
why, at first I let it bother me, and then I figured, well, why should it? Because he's innocent anyways. But then I kind of turned the other way and said, oh, I'm not gonna, just like right now, the Dassey name this, the Dassey name that. I get disgraced, but the people that are disgracing me don't even know me.
And this is the great irony, if you like, isn't it? Is the fact that you as in every Dassey family were all proven right in 2003. Steve was protesting his innocence. We've got a track record here. If Stephen did it, he says, yeah, I did it. Okay, I hold my hand up, I did it. But if he didn't do it, he has a tendency of being stubborn. And if you didn't, there's this whole idea of taking plea deals. It really was quite bizarre. And it's almost as if, when Wiegert and Fastbender spoke to you, in what way did they try and convince you that Brendan was somehow did all this stuff? Did they try and do that, or did they just say, he's guilty?
Oh no, yeah, they tried to convince me. They tried to tell me he was in on that, and I think we met like twice, and he did this and he did that, and I says, well, do you really have proof? And they didn't really say anything after that,
Yeah. And I know this must be really hard because we saw Barb's reaction to the guilty verdict. But what was your reaction when the court found him guilty in just about 4 hours? They haven't gone away and considered that. They've just rubber stamped.
Oh, I held it in. I show my emotions. I don't show my emotions in front of everybody. I'll show my emotions on the behind the scenes. But through all that court time, what really confused me is Teresa's family. They gave us bucks, but if somebody passed away, okay, now this is my opinion. I don't know if you want to go with me on this, but I thought it was kind of weird because every time we were in the courtroom, they gave me dirty looks, but not one of them, if their daughter was taken and killed or whatever, not one of them showed any tears. Now, can you, usually when somebody dies, wouldn't somebody be crying in the courtroom?
I mean,
I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, often the Brits are accused of having this stiff upper lip, that we'll just not, show our emotion. But yeah, there did seem to be a huge lack of emotion. Not that we can necessarily, read too much into that. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, they probably, like me, they didn't show emotion, but behind the scenes they did. But normally, I don't I was expecting a little bit more out of him if that was the case, but maybe that's just me too. Just
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, this it just beggars belief that if they think, particularly Mike Holbach, if he thinks that Brendan did all these horrible things to Teresa,
yeah.
And at sentencing, he actually comes up and says, that Brendan should have taken the plea deal. Well, if you're a family member who is convinced that your sister was murdered by this guy, why would you be wanting him to take a plea deal? It's so obvious that what they wanted to do was to have somebody testify at Steve's trial. But forgive me, but I didn't see any way that Brendan was going to get up and try and produce a whole story, a whole narrative that he was supposed to produce at Steve's trial in order to condemn Steve. I just didn't see that at all.
Yeah.
It's, for one thing, bless him, you've got to be able to keep a straight story, as it were, and Brendan's sort of, because of the way they interviewed him, everything changes. Everything changes from one paragraph to the next. Or, we're not sure about that. You're going to have to change it. Be honest with us. Be honest. They kept using this word, be honest with us. But in actual fact, what they were saying was, tell us something different, weren't they?
Yeah.
You
and you're sitting in class. Come on, we know you know it. Come on, we know you know it. Just say it. And then in the background, he was all confused, but you can see that he never had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
They just brainwashed him, and every time I look at that, it just sends a knife through me. Sorry about that, but that's like
no, absolutely. I remember after the I think it's an interview that Brendan does, the second interview with Wiegert and Fastbender, where they, having had Michael Kelly go and interview Brendan, and he gets presented with this stupid piece of paper that just says, I am A, sorry for what I did, or B, I'm not sorry for what I did. Where's box C, where I never did anything? Yeah. I just wish Brendan added a box and C, I did not do anything, and take that one. It's just.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. When Brendan phones Barb, you can tell that she's kind of really upset, and she's kind of like in shock. She says to him, "You really did all this stuff?"
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment when you thought, "My goodness, could Brendan have done all this?"
No.
No. I had a similar moment with, when I first spoke with Herman, and he was trying to tell me that, that everything was okay. And I'm like, I come off the phone, and for a split second, I'm thinking, did I really just hear that? That he's just denying everything about Manitowoc. I mean, here's the thing, of course, that Tom Fastbender went on a TV show, didn't he?
Yeah.
And do you remember when he said, when it was something like Dr. Phil said to him, so do you think that Brendan did everything that he confessed to? And Tom Fastbender says, well, I don't know that he did all of that. What did you make of that?
What Brendan saying that?
Well, no. What Tom Fastbender said when asked, he was asked by, I think it was Dr. Phil in the Dr. Phil show. He was asked.
Yeah.
They asked Tom Fastbender. He said, so do you think Brendan really did all this? And Tom Fastbender's reaction was, reply was, am I sure he did all of it? No, I'm not sure that he did all of it. For me, if he's not sure that he did, if what bits he did and what bits he didn't, then how do you know which bits he did, if anything?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They just all them guys were they just assumed that he did this, and he assumed that he did that.
Yeah. Are you? I'm sure you are, because it's kind of difficult to avoid it, but you must be aware of the fact that there's speculation about certain family members, shall we say, and their involvement. And I always feel it's really important to give everybody the benefit of the doubt in this. You know, what's your thoughts on that, Pete?
I don't know. It just really got out of hand, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I just they just actually, to tell you the truth, what I heard is Fastbender and guys, they picked on all my sons, not only
Mm-hmm.
just Brendan,
Mm-hmm.
picked on Brian, Bobby,
Yeah.
and Blaine. But
Mm-hmm.
they only smartened up and says, "Hey, we never did any of this," and then they kind of got out of the, and then they picked on the most least one is Brendan, because he's a
Yeah.
slow learner, but they didn't just pick on Brendan.
No.
They zoomed in on all my sons.
Yeah. 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 Um, yeah. Absolutely.
I'm trying to answer the best I can.
Sure. 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 I mean, I know this is really difficult, but once Brendan had been found guilty and sentenced, what was your thoughts then?
Uh, that their trick on them, they succeeded with their trick. You know.
And sort of, I presume, a certain animosity towards the people that have put him there.
Yeah. Mm.
Yep. What would your be take on the sort of, like, if you like, the sort of forces behind that, the reasons why Brendan ended up where he was? Particularly the fact that really what they're trying to do is they're trying to nail Steve, aren't they? They're trying
Yeah.
to
And
get a story against Steve.
yeah, they figured if they just used Steve, they wouldn't have enough. So that's why they pulled my son Brendan in.
Yeah.
And it's just so many loose ends, like the knife. You were supposed to have stabbed her. There's supposed to have been so much blood on the carpet, and there was blood all over the place, and this and that. Well, where was Brendan's knife, and where was the blood? I don't
Yeah.
understand. I don't understand any of that.
It's it's a really weird thing, that, isn't it? Because you're supposed to have experts that look at this case from the point of view of analysing DNA. Sherry Culhane was sent all these swabs from the from Steve's trailer, and it's like, well, you're the expert, and in fact, I believe it was Sherry Culhane that ran the lab test that proved that it wasn't Steve, it was this Gregory Allen that attacked Penny Bernstein in 1985.
Yeah.
And yet it just seems to me, and I don't know if you get this sense of it, that all the experts were all lined up just to prove, to say, oh, Steve and Brendan, they're guilty. And it's like where are we going to get any fair science in this? Because, as you just said, not a single speck of blood, not even the slightest little droplet of blood, found. And what I find really incredulous is that you've got people that defend the conviction of Steve and Brendan, and they say, oh, well, they, like some Mark Regan, oh, they had 5 days to clear up. I mean, how house proud and tidy are, well, you I don't know how well you knew Steve, but Brendan, Steve. I mean, how house proud are they? Are they? Do you regularly, when you saw them, were they regularly out with the Hoover and polishing and everywhere, dusting everywhere? I'm being facetious, I know I am, but you know what I'm saying. It's like,
Oh, you mean at the site?
Yeah, anywhere.
Oh no, because as soon as that happened, uh, everybody had to leave. Like
Mm.
Barb and her parents,
Yeah,
they had to leave for like 2 weeks. So if that's why they said if they planted anything or did anything, they had the complete opportunity to do that because none of the owners or Barb or anybody around there weren't allowed to come back for like 2 weeks. So if they wanted to do anything, they could do anything they wanted to.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Another thing I wanted to ask you about,
And the thing,
Paul, you're waffling. Well, thank you, William. I much appreciate that. No, I'm not. I'm doing the best. So please bear with me.
and I asked Brendan about the knife situation. He got that from the show Kiss the Girls or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Did
So,
was it something that he said he read, or it was that he watched it?
uh, yeah, was it a book or was it a movie? Isn't it a book
Because
too? No, I think he had the book. Yeah.
yeah, I believe that the school had it in the library at that time,
Yeah.
but also it was actually playing
Yeah.
on. It was actually being shown on TV. This Kiss the Girls.
Yeah. I don't know what channel it was, but yeah, he likes
Thing.
those. Likes those he likes those kind of shows.
Yeah. Now then, Pete, you remember I said about the fact that you were saying about not being able to see the chat.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wonder if you can see this. Has that popped up to you?
Yeah. I see that. Yeah.
You see that what William has so kindly said, Paul waffling, and then just to make me feel a bit better, he's put. I meant to say havering, not waffling. Do you know what havering means?
Is that more or less your language? I don't mean anything by that, but like your language, like if I say bullshit, your language is rubbish.
Yeah, it's just a Scottish word that means
Okay.
yeah just havering. It's made famous by a song by the Proclaimers, 500 miles. I'm going to be 500 miles.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that anyway.
Is that your language too? I got somebody talking to me that says we all the time.
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay.
We meaning little, and muckle is big, and
Okay.
havering is what I'm the master of. So there
Okay.
you go, William.
Okay. I'm learning something new today.
Exactly. Now I was just at the point of starting to go through Luke Berg defending the state in the two. So Brendan's case went to the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals.
Yeah.
They decided in Brendan's favour. That was a great win, but the fact that it was 2-1 meant that AEDPA kicked in and says that in order to get habeas relief, it has to be so obvious that no judge in the country would have come up with a different decision. And of course, that's when David Hamilton, he comes up with his decision to dissent. Um, I mean, have you had a chance to look at any of the writings of this Judge Hamilton, who's basically has well, cruel is not the word to describe him. It's far worse than that. I mean, any thoughts on the Seventh Circuit decisions that have, well, obviously one went in favour of Brendan, but then ultimately went against him.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised that one judge kind of
Mm-hmm.
went with him, and I was kind of surprised. I thought things were really going to turn around there, but you know, no, in a way, it didn't surprise me that all the judges stuck together. But I don't know. I guess it is what it is.
I mean, is it just a case of these judges. It's like the old boys club. They all stick together. They don't want to upset the status quo. They don't want to upset the apple cart. They just want everything to carry on as it was. And if they can come up with any kind of feeble excuse, that's just what they're happy to go along with.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of my favorite shows on TV at night is MASH. I don't know if you ever saw it. Yeah, it's there was an episode on there. One doctor was trying to do this to another doctor, and this one guy says, "Oh, you doctors stick together. You doctors all stick together." And he said,
Yeah.
"Right, but yeah." So
yeah. It's it was really bad as well how what should have been 9 judges suddenly became 7, and obviously the thought was that the 2 that didn't take part would most likely have voted in favour of Brendan. The other bizarre thing, of course, is that when these cases go before these judges, all of a sudden, what should be when it comes to the states in America, there are 2 verdicts. There's guilty and not guilty, and you have to have to be either way. There has to be a unanimous decision. It has to be unanimous. In other words, all 12 or all 11 jurors have to vote one way. And yet, when you get to these levels where the judges are the jury, you're going on majority decisions. And in that case, it was 4-3. I just don't see how that is beyond a reasonable doubt. I just don't get that. What did you think about the sort of opposing sides there? Because you've got Hamilton on one side with all his nonsense, and you've got the Woods, Rovner, and Williams on the other side. Have you had a chance to read any of the stuff that they've said?
No, I kind of know what's going on from people telling me stuff, but I don't really dig into it like you do. And I appreciate it that you do because you know every little thing. But I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know. It's really like in your language rubbish, but another word for me, it's really actually horseshit. But so I don't mean to swear at all, but that's just the way it is. I don't know. I don't know. They got the wrong people. I don't know why they're covering up. I just wish they'd find the right ones and let the right ones go.
Yeah.
What's so hard about doing that? Then I hear these rumors that Teresa ain't really dead.
Yeah.
That she's somewhere else and going under a different name. And I don't know how true that is, but
I mean, it's at the moment it's one of those things that unfortunately people can can sort of go wholeheartedly into and realize that if you're using Occam's razor, this theory that the simplest solution is often the right one, then by all means, the fact is that when you've got so many suspects, of whom Steve and Brendan are the least likely, but you've got all these other suspects, it says that the most likely outcome is the simplest one. So yeah, there's always going to be, I feel there's always going to be fuel on that fire of, that Teresa is still out there because of the lack of this evidence that she isn't.
Yeah,
I think for me that's the big problem.
And I also keep hearing that she left the Avery property and they got phone records and they got phone records. Her phone was still on. So what about stuff like that? I don't understand.
Yeah.
In my mind, there's still too many. I call it loose ends. I don't know what you want to say in your language, but loose ends.
Yeah. And is it, to put it simply, is it just a case of hoping that it's all going to get sorted out?
Yeah, maybe like Barbaugh says, maybe one of these days, somebody's going to leak something out,
Yep.
and the truth will be set free, and finally, I don't know,
Because for me, that's exactly what happened. Even before Teresa was reported, sorry, even before the RAV, even before her car was found
yeah,
at the salvage yard, her brother, Teresa's brother, uses the term the grieving process could last for days. And I've never, ever come across any guilty that can actually explain to me, in all honesty, what does that mean? Other than we know that something's happened to her, that she's
yeah, yeah,
she's gone, or we've known far too soon, or if you're grieving for days, what are you grieving about? If this grieving process is only going to last days, and that for me was the slip that should have bust this whole case right open.
yeah.
If only the journalists had picked up on it. But I suppose look, I struggle to comprehend what the journalists were doing, other than the fact that, I mean, is there a, how shall I put it, a fear of the sheriff's department in Calumet and Manitowoc and stuff like that? I mean, there has to be some good guys in there, surely. They can't all be Lincoln Corbins, can they?
Oh no, are you talking about the cops, Manitowoc Police?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some really good ones. I mean, I'm not saying that they're all bad, but
Well, actually, sorry. I suppose we should really differentiate, because there's. Am I right in thinking that there's a police department in Manitowoc? There's even a police department in Two Rivers, but
yeah,
you've got a separate. I almost said a separate sheriff's department across the whole of Manitowoc, and our problem isn't really with the police departments that are there in the city. It's the sheriff's department that are involved in everything else. Yeah.
yeah. Because
Yep.
actually, stating the police department, I'm only like maybe 6 blocks away from it.
Yeah.
Two Rivers, I mean, but
Yeah.
Manitowoc, they're like 7 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think. What time is the Packers game today? Any idea?
It's actually tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
Yeah, Sunday. Isn't today Saturday?
Well, I've got it. I've got it telling me that it's 1:20. But okay, so that. Right, I'm getting confused.
I thought it was on Sunday. I don't know.
Yeah, against the Titans.
Yeah, it's actually in Green Bay, because we got a snowstorm coming in for tomorrow, and they're going to say, "Oh, it's going to be a real dally of a game,"
Yeah. But have they not already beaten the? Oh, was it? Have they beaten them already away from home? In their place?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, hammered them, I think. Oh well. Anyway, that should be good.
Can you actually get games over there from us? Or?
Oh yeah. We get them live, and we get what we call the end zone, the red zone, and we can follow all the games that are being played. I know that the Tampa Bay absolutely walloped the Detroit Lions, didn't they?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, absolutely hammered them. It was 34-0 at half time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know what kind of shows you guys got, so.
Yeah. No, it's the thing is, when American football was first being shown in the, I would say I started following and staying up late at night to watch things like the Super Bowl in the mid-90s, and certainly that's when I realised that the Green Bay Packers. It was just the fans that attracted me to them. The fact that the cheese heads, the fact that it's the the franchise is owned by the fans. It's not owned by one individual person, is it?
No, no.
No, you
But
know.
you like the Packers, or?
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, okay. I guess I put my foot in my mouth there.
Nah, no, you're fine. You're fine. No, I've been a Packers fan for I would say till about since about the mid-90s. But to be honest, Pete, it's the time differences that confuse me as to when games are played and stuff like that. So let me just check. Green Bay.
Okay. Well, so then if they're on Sunday night, you're gonna be watching, or can you see it from there?
So it's saying it's 28th of December. Well, we're only the 26th, so tomorrow's the 27th. So yes, they're playing tomorrow, and it's going to be because of the time difference. It's going to be 20 past 1 in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be 20 past 1 in the morning. If that game is live, if the game is live on if the game is live on on Sky. So there's our wee friend from Glasgow. He says, staying up to watch ladies football more like Paul Capaldi. Yeah, well, I must admit, me and the dude, we when we were in Sydney for a couple of days, there was one night we were watching the telly, and it was like stupid o'clock in the morning because we'd had a few drinks. I think it was on the Thursday night. We'd been to the Enmore Theatre to see Steve Drizzen and Laura Nyrider and David Rudolph, and we kind of staggered back to the Palisade. Had a few beers, and we were watching the football, and we had the Aussie rules football, but played by the ladies, and that was something else. That was absolutely brilliant. We totally enjoyed watching that. You know, fair play to the girls on that one. That was awesome.
Are you talking about those girls that they had in arena football that was called Glow? They were called the Glow Girls.
Right.
Did you ever see those?
Playing what? Sorry.
They were playing in arena football. They were called the Glow.
Yes. Yeah. I did.
Girls
yeah,
from Glow. Yeah. Is that who you're?
Well, that's American football, you know. Hate to burst Americans' bubble, but you know, not the whole world plays American football. That's why it's called American football, and not all the world plays Aussie football, which is why it's called Aussie football. Proper football is played all over the world, of which Aston Villa are one of the best teams in the world. But I would accept that there are other teams that are somewhere near as good. But yeah, no. This was Aussie rules football.
Okay.
This was Aussie rules football. Although having said that, in fairness to American football, it's spread all over the world, hasn't it? I can watch Speedway in Poland, and the track goes around an American football field. You know that they've obviously got American football being played there in Poland or wherever, you know. American football is very, very popular here. Well, throughout Europe, isn't it? It's very, very popular. Anyway. Yes, okay, William. Thank you very much. Yeah.
For shits and giggles, how many viewers do you have right now?
Hold on a second. 33. We were up to about 40, but then we started talking about sport, so it sort of tailed off. But yeah, brilliant. And after Taxi Women's, Wet T-shirt netball on Miami Beach, All American Late Night TV. and also, quite right. This is Daisy Lady KLG says, Americans call it soccer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. You do. Call it soccer.
Oh yeah, football. Yeah, I watched that. Boy, you got to be really in shape for that.
Yeah. I suppose finally, what What does worry me about Brendan is the fact that when people used to go and be able to visit him, I heard that a particular card shark used to go along and play cards, a certain Carla Chase, and I've tried to send several messages to Brendan warning him not to play cards with Carla Chase, but he doesn't seem to be taking any heed of what I'm telling him.
So what's the reason for that?
Well, I mean, it's surely she's a bit of a card shark, is she not, Carla?
Oh yeah. She goes,
Yeah,
but she goes usually with Barb.
yeah,
Yeah. So she's she's the head shark, I guess.
yeah. I mean, let's face. I mean, she's bound to cheat, right?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to get my hands in any hot water.
Look at that! Look at that! Look at that. Brilliant, brilliant. Bob says sometimes I knew Bob. I knew she cheated. I knew she cheated. Anyway, look. The bottom line is that hopefully we're soon going to be into 2021.
Yeah.
And the hope, and I don't know if you've heard this, but the hope is that the second district appeals court is going to eventually decide on what's going to happen in Steve's case, and of course, it doesn't need me to remind everybody that what happens in Steve's case will have a huge effect on Brendan's case, and hopefully the. I mean, I just can't see it going any other way than, the state of Wisconsin. At least one side is going to get a real good kicking for what they've done.
You can answer me a question.
Yeah.
Why, like right now, why is everything like at a standstill? How come we don't hear anything from Kathleen Zellner or something? She's really quiet now. What's going on? Do you know?
It's just quiet. We're just waiting for the. As I say, it was Tracy. You know Tracy Stronsey.
Yeah.
Yeah, as she pointed out, that there was a case that went to the appeals court, the Court of Appeals, and it was sort of 4 or 5 months ahead of Steve's, and it was just looked at recently. I think it was the beginning of this month, or I might be wrong about that. But anyway, but by her mathematics, she's saying that there seems to be this sort of time frame that it takes, and much as we'd like to have, we would love to see the judges say, look, there's obviously doubt about these two convictions. Just let them out now. I suppose the bottom line is that we want to see that whatever judges decide in any case, that they've taken their time to consider it, and come up with a good decision. I would imagine that Paul Riley is I'm sure, because he's been considering Steve's case so far. I'm sure he's the guy that's at the moment he's busy trying to write out or everything that he needs to present, because when he presents his decision, he knows full well the whole world is watching. People from all 4 quarters of the globe are going to look at that decision, and he'd better make sure that he's absolutely spot on. And I suppose another thing is that they probably, when all these lawyers submit their information, how they quote from various other cases.
Yeah.
I'm sure that one of the things they have to do is they have to actually go through and check every single, Kathleen Zellner in some of her motions might quote 60, 70, 80 cases in her motion and say, this is what happened in this case. And I'm sure the judge has to go through and actually, look at it all, and say, give their opinion. the interesting thing when it comes to handing back bones to the holdbacks, this is something new. This has never happened before. This has set a new precedent. We're just not going to know what's going to happen. You know,
Yeah.
in other words, what is the remedy to that? What is the thing that you could do? Well, for one thing, the state of Wisconsin should throw in prison Tom Fallon, Norm Garn, and Mark Wiegert. That's what should happen, without a doubt, because they have completely, perverted the course of justice, as we call it. I'm not sure what the correct terminology is over there in Wisconsin, but that's what they've done.
Yeah.
Anyway, Pete, I'm going to let you tell everybody cheerio. It was nice to see Barb here in the chat. Thank you, Barb, for popping in and saying hello. And just to let you know that we all love you. So, sorry,
Brendan's mom.
Yeah, she was here. Yeah.
Oh, she's watching me right now.
Yeah.
Okay, hi, Merry Christmas. Long time no see.
Let me go back. There you go.
Yeah, I just popped over there the other day, dropped off their Christmas cards, and I got to see my son Bobby there.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah,
on the screen there. Yeah,
I see it right in the middle. Yeah.
Excellent.
Anyway, I hope Christmas went good.
Well, I'm going to let you say cheerio and a happy Christmas, New Year to everybody here, and then we'll just
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year, and till we meet again.
Well, hopefully, same time next week, or maybe an hour later. Whichever suits.
Sorry if I got about time. Just got away. When I seen you on my phone, I'm like, oh my God. Then you had on there, are you all right? Are you all right?
Yeah.
So how long were you actually waiting? I didn't really look at the time.
About 2 days, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
No, I'm only kidding.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
About 10 minutes, because then I had this start of the Luke Berg cognitive dissonance to go through. So no, there was no problem. Listen,
eventually to be on, right? I wasn't going to leave you hanging.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, let's hope either same time next week or an hour later, and we'll catch you then. Okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever. Just email me and I'll get back to you.
Excellent.
Okay, adios, cheerio. I like that, cheerio.
Cheerio.
Okay, adios.
Or as they say in Australia, ooh.
Okay.